name is Justin Butler. I'm director of the Fine Arts Music Program here at Caldwell Community College. I'd like to remind everybody to silence your cell phones or electronic devices so we don't have interruptions during performance. If you do need to leave or go to the restrooms or whatever during performance, please, when you enter, come back in during an applause so we don't interrupt our performers. I'd like to welcome our group from Denmark. Yeah, we hope you enjoy it. And without any further delay, hope you enjoy the performance. We'll learn more about the genre and the style of Appalachian music that you're listening to throughout the performance.
She says no, we'll run away. Oh, Willie dear, there's no need asking. She's in her room taking a rest, and by her side is a silver dagger to slay the one for him so that he might see her face. He made no confession, but they carried him to jail. No friends or relations would go on his bail.
So that was an old ballad called Omie Wise. It's so old, it's one of the first ones from right here in North Carolina. In 1808, there was a real lady named Omie Wise who was killed in Randolph County and thrown over a falls there. You may have seen on your way in, there was a photograph of it. Naomi Wise's or Omie Wise's Falls, still down in Randolph County. And it's a real story. And the other song right before that was Katie Deer, which has really local connections around here. The Bullock Brothers, Blue Sky Boys, from like about 20 miles away from here, recorded that song. Were the first ones to put that on record back in the 1930s. And did a really beautiful job here with the harmonies on it. Y'all should check out the old one as well. So there's a few things to say about that. Our next gruesome lineup here is The Wind and Rain, which is a old British ballad. So a lot of these ballads stretch back into the traditions of the British Isles that came over here and were filtered through what was the kidneys of the American frontier at the time, the Appalachian Mountain region, for examining the dead body of all this work here, as it were. And so Wind and Rain, this is about two sisters that loved one man, and there's a mill involved and there's a mill pond, and one of them ends up in it by the end of the thing. And it's a pretty gruesome old song, but it goes back to sort of British Isles traditions. So we'll play that one for you.
There were two sisters, a county clear. Oh, the wind and the rain. One was dark and the other was fair. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. And they both had a love of the miller's son. Oh, the wind and the rain. But he was fond of the fairer one. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. So she pushed her into the river to drown. Oh, the wind and the rain. And watched her as she floated down. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. And she floated till she came to the miller's pond. Oh, the wind and the rain. Dead on the water like a golden swan. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. And she came to rest by the river's side. Oh, the wind and the rain. And her bones were washed by the rolling tide. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain.
Okay, so you're probably noticing a theme here now, and it's going to get a little bit worse. Ladies do not fare well in these old songs, and we have to keep in mind that stretching all the way back into the British Isles, this was a way of sort of carrying the news in sort of societies where there weren't exactly everyone wasn't literate, or there wasn't exactly a news sort of cycle going on, or newspapers. So this was a way of sort of easily carrying information about true crimes, sort of murders that had happened in small areas, and was sort of a localized way of telling stories and telling the news. So these songs would often be set to familiar tunes. You'll hear some of these sort of overlap by the time we get done. So what we've learned out of this one is, number one, most likely the lady's going to die in these. Fiddlers, I hate to even say this, but they're not, that's just weird what he did in this one. And it only gets worse for fiddlers, trust me. By the time we get over here to more American ballads, it's going to be even worse on the fiddlers. So stay tuned.
Poor guy. Ooh. Yeah, let's go.
I should say this one's called Poor Ellen Smith, and this is from down in Forsyth County, and we'll give some history of it right after we get done playing.
Shot through the heart, lying cold on the ground. Her body was mangled and all passed around, and blood marks the spot where poor Ellen was found. They picked up her body and carried it away, and now she is sleeping in some lonesome grave.
Smith, which is about a real murder that happened in around Winston in 1894, and A friend of mine named Riley Boggess kind of did a lot of research on that, and if you ever get a chance to see a show with him, he's like an amazing banjo player, but he did a little bit of research and found out that basically where Ellen Smith was killed by her lover, a man named Peter DeGraff, was behind a gigantic hotel which had only been built a month before. And it turns out that that hotel burned down about a week after she was murdered. And if that hotel had not been there, everybody in town would have been able to see the spot where she was washing her clothes, and she wouldn't have been murdered, which is kind of a creepy thought, really. So that's a true story, and that's from right here in North Carolina. And so we've kind of tried to keep that a theme throughout this whole concert. It's my turn now, and this is one of this is where the fiddlers really don't fare well. This is one from right down the road here called Tom Dooley, and this is about a real tragedy that happened here right after the Civil War in about 1866. Former Confederate soldier named Tom Dooley sort of formed a love triangle between Ann Melton and a young girl named Laura Foster. And it did not end well. There were sexually transmitted diseases in this, so take that away as a warning. And it ended up that Laura Foster was found in a shallow grave, and no one's quite sure if Tom Dooley actually murdered her or Ann Melton. You can kind of do some research into this. There's a great book by John Foster West, who's a member of the Foster family, that you can look into all this for. And you can visit, I'm sure some of y'all out here know this, you can visit Laura Foster's grave just further down the road here, heading towards Wilkesboro, so in Happy Valley. This all occurred in Happy Valley, y'all. Happy Valley. All right, so, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. On the mountainside, and there you took her life. Just hang your head, Tom Dooley, hang your head and cry. Killed little Laurie Foster, and you know you're bound to die. I'm living, boys, they ain't gonna let me rest. Well, I know they're gonna hang me. Tomorrow I'll be dead. Though I never even harmed hair on poor little Laurie's head. Hang your head, Tom Dooley, hang your head and cry. Kill little Laurie Foster, and you know you're bound to die. Long holler hanging from a white oak tree. I know they're gonna hang me, and tomorrow I'll be dead. Though I never harmed a single hair on poor little Laurie's head. Hang your head, Tom Dooley, hang your head and cry. Kill little Laurie Foster, and you know you're bound to die. Time tomorrow, it'll be no use to me. Hang your head, Tom Dooley, hang your head and cry. Killed little Lori Foster and you know you're bound to die. Oh, it's hang your head, Tom Dooley, hang your head and cry. Killed little Lori Foster and you know you're bound to die. Local one called Tom Dooley. Thank you very much. So a little bit to say about that. There's sort of a mention of Take Down My Fiddle. Supposedly, Tom Dooley was in jail in Statesville and played this song on the fiddle, or at least a variant thereof. We're not sure if it's that one or not. And so there's lore around the fact that he wrote his own murder ballad. And that's why it says that he didn't do it, I'm pretty sure. Okay, yeah.
So in the spirit of things, we've started working on a couple original murder ballads, which is an interesting writing task. You want it to be respectful, but also, about a crime that's usually an unfortunate love situation. And because we have so many women involved, then we try to be equal opportunity, and the women also kill men. So it's all a little equal. But so I wanted to take the Tom Dooley story and kind of twist it from Ann Melton's point of view. Like, she was kind of the mastermind. Like, you hear some whispers about it. There's a documentary on YouTube. It's like a 30 minutes about Doc Watson's life, and there's this one scene where they're all like stitching quilts, and there's a woman like, my aunt knew Ann Melton, and she said to my grandmother that she had a real big secret, but she couldn't tell her, like, unless she was real sick. Like, she was really sick and they didn't know if she's gonna live or not. She's like, well, I didn't want to tell her unless she's gonna die. She's like, gosh, that's really loaded. That's a heavy thing, like this heavy secret. So supposedly it was her doing, so that she could have her man to herself. Also, the song is called Bad Blood because another little plot twist of this is there's a lot of syphilis going around in those days during the Confederate War. So this is kind of about their love triangle and all the happenings.
Tom and Ann were kids she knew. Their hearts would beat as one, but the war had other plans. After the clash of blue and gray, it wasn't like before. Handsome man looked in another's eyes. Well, he shared his bed with a younger woman with no regard for the love he had. Well, it ain't no justice in the broken heart or salvation in wicked ways. What a tangled web they wove, love and parks and lies, till one day Ann could take no more. She said, Tom, you have to choose, and I refuse to give up my man. Give up my man. I never touch a hair on her head. No, there ain't no justice in the broken heart or salvation in wicked ways. On her deathbed, the angels looked away and it weighed heavy on her soul and hung her head like Tom had done before, but she knew she had sins to tell. And the black cats hollered as they drug her soul to hell. And Miss Laurie is rolling in her grave. Yeah, there ain't no justice in the broken heart or salvation in wicked ways.
At some point, I read that there was an old superstition that when you died, if you were a sinner, that black cats hollered. I was like, that is the most metal thing I've ever heard. So I just like really wanted to put that in there.
All right, are we murdered out yet?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's the whole show. We need that. Little Sadie? All right. So this one is another one from right around this area. This is also known by the name of Badley Brown. And sort of comes out of the African American tradition in this area. This is Little Sadie, and it was originally a banjo tune, but we're going to play it sort of as a fiddle bed tune here. And it mentions the town of Thomasville. I'm sure some of you are familiar with that. The killer runs away to Thomasville, and he's a bit of a smart aleck. This particular murderer in the song. He kind of asks what the charges are when he's accosted on the street by the sheriff, and says, tell me if it's first degree or the second degree, or I won't go with you. And that doesn't go over well. So, Little Sadie.
Little Sadie.
1, 2, 3, 4. Went out last night to make a little round, met Little Sadie and I shot her down. I went back home, go to bed, 44 smoke was under my head. Well, I began to think, what a deed I'd done. I grabbed my hat the way I'd run. I made a good run, but a little too slow. Overtook me in Jericho. I was standing on the corner reading the bill, and up rode the sheriff from Thomasville. Said, young man, is your name Brown? Man, last night I shot Sadie down. Said, why, yes, sir, my name is Lee. I'm guilty of the murder in the first degree. Is it the first degree or the second degree? Got any papers? Won't you read them that day? Well, they took me downtown and dressed me in black. They brung me on the barrel car to bring me back. Brung me back to the county jail. Had no one to go my bail. The judge and the jury, they took their stand. The judge had the papers in his right hand. 41 days and 41 nights, 41 years to wear the ball and stripes. under my head. Sadie. Now it's time for another original tune. We'll let Lauren introduce this one. For banjos in tune.
I think so. If you loved those last two chords, you're gonna love this song. So if you know the Osborne tune, the chorus that goes Ruby. So I took that idea of that chorus and made it into a murder ballad, with the idea that it's, what do we call it? We turn it on its head and kind of a ballad within a ballad. So this woman is so tired of hearing about women, the woman in the song is so tired of hearing about women being murdered that she in turn kills the person singing all the songs. Is that meta? It's very meta. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Back out here just real quick. So you might recognize these three, Chad, Blake, and Anna, in a band called Handlebar Betty around town. Great music, lots of harmonies, lots of great music. So definitely check them out. We've got Blake Bostain, Anna Huffman, and Chad Berry. Trevor McKenzie here, plays with just about everybody. out there to sing, play just about anything as well, and of course Miss Lauren Hayworth. We are in the Mercury Days together, but she sings tons of jazz and does just a little bit of everything as well, accordion and guitar and ukulele. And my name's Kat Chaffin. We appreciate y'all being here. Appreciate Justin for having us.
If you find Cat music on the internet, Kat puts on a variety of themed shows per year. Kat has a theatric and as like a background and also just multi-genre. So this Friday, some of us up here will be transitioning to the 80s. So if you happen to be in Boone, we're putting on a 1984 show. So which just shows you all the different styles and themes if you follow Cat music on Facebook. And thanks for putting this all together. All of this was Kat's brainchild to put together.
We also have another murder ballad show. If you just can't get enough and want to hear all kinds of people getting killed in major keys, and that's coming up on I think it's October 16th at the Saloon. But yeah, you never thought you'd hear so many gruesome things to major keys and just her body was mangled and on fast.
And Justin,
It's ridiculous.
Justin, thank you so much for having us at this concert series.
Okay, so we're going to close out with one called Henry Lee. And this is dates back to an old song called Young Hunting, which is a ballad that goes all the way back in the Scottish tradition. And it kind of got Americanized as Henry Lee over here. And it's in both real time and waltz time, which we're going to attempt here.
Thank y'all again for having us.
Get down, little Henry Lee. It's way on die with me. You won't find a girl in this damn world that will compare with me.
them to bow. Should we get them to bow?